All right, would like to thank everyone for joining us today for another productive webinar. Introducing this time Securio, and the company is Global Velocity. The product is Securio, and let me introduce myself. I'm Chuck Eiton, Marketing Manager here at Productive Corp. I am joined by Mike Eck, Director of Business Development over at Global Velocity. So definitely like to thank him for joining us today. We're going to cover in 30 minutes here a bunch of cool things, talking about Global Velocity as a company and their product Securio. But we're going to kick it off with meeting productive in 1 minute. Who are we? What do we do? And cover that in less than a minute. So with that, let's begin. So Productive is a security and storage software expert for mid-sized companies. At Productive, you have a dedicated account executive who's responsible for answering your questions, meeting your needs, being the expert, right? That's what we're here for. We don't sell everything. We sell security, infrastructure, and backup. We do implementation, testing, optimization, security assessments, penetration tests. We do a lot of different things. One of the hot areas for the mid-market right now is UTM and gateway services and getting consolidation of your gateway products. We can help with that. We also have a ton of information on our website. P-guides, 2-minute tech articles, tons of videos, both on our website and on our YouTube channel, on our Twitter, just tons and tons of great stuff there. The best thing, we're always here to help you. You can give us a call at 800-726-4099. Help at Productive Corp goes to every single person in the organization. So if you ever need anything, you can reach us at help at Productive Corp. So with that, we're going to talk a little bit about Global Velocity. Before we do that, just a couple quick things. We should have some questions throughout this. If you have a question, please use the chat feature that is in your product, right, on the right-hand side. Feel free to chat to me any questions. I will turn those over to Mike, and we'll try our best to answer any questions that we may have. If you're getting real technical on us, we may have to defer you to one of our account executives to help. Also, everyone on the event today will be getting an Amazon gift card. It's a little bit manual for me to get those out, so I will hopefully have those out by the end of the week. And if you miss something here, we're going to have recorded versions of this on both our YouTube channel, YouTube/productive content, and on productivecorp.com. So with that, Mike, are you with us?
I am. Thank you.
All right, cool. So maybe we can start with just real quick, who is Global Velocity, and then we can get into the Securio product and what you're trying to solve here.
Yes, thank you, Chuck. Again, this voice is Mike Eck, Business Development Director for Global Velocity. I think you'll find that what customers and prospects have told us that Global Velocity technology is very easy to use. You're going to find flexibility in a number of fronts, very affordable, and that we allow you to take small steps in this world of content security. We feel that we're a next generation with respect to the early work done in data loss prevention, and we're focusing on what we're calling information-centric security, which means start with the data, think about the data first, and then build information-centric security around it. On this slide, you'll also see that we're monitoring the three major disruptive technologies in mobile computing, big data, and cloud computing, and doing our best to stay current with these disruptive technologies. Our purpose is to help reduce the risk of a data breach. So we talked about starting with the data first, and let's focus on the square on the right side of this screen. And that is Global Velocity can help. We do two big things. We help examine and scan data at rest. We call that Discover. And that we also scan and can filter data in motion. We call that Securio Protect. And we look for things. We look for patterns, things that look like it could be a credit card number, social security number, national provider identifier if you're in the healthcare industry and worry about HIPAA. We also have a dictionary keyword library feature. Your system comes with 9 dictionaries with keywords using the concept of weights on those words and phrases, that if a threshold is breached, that we report an incident or a finding. And then the virtual vault allows us to truly create digital fingerprints of actual content, whether it's a Word document, a PDF, an Excel spreadsheet, and that we look for 50-character fingerprints of that original content and can filter based on and apply company policy based on that. So just to summarize, again, Discover is focused on data at rest, and Protect is focused on data in motion, as you see in the bubble on the left side of the screen. Next slide. So data at rest. Let's start with Securio Discover. We had a chief security officer tell us in one of our early meetings that their firm had a network file share that had been accumulating files and documents over a decade, and it was 20 terabytes in size, and that chief security officer said she worried about what might be on it. And in our first scan of that, it took even 1 terabyte of that 20 terabyte file share, we found about 2,000 files with unencrypted credit cards, which was a significant business risk to the organization. So we helped identify the risk associated with having unencrypted data, unencrypted credit cards on their network share. And we're going to show a demonstration of that later in the presentation. The other big function for Securio is data in motion filtering, where with respect to your business users, we can inspect their use of various cloud technologies, including webmail, social media, cloud storage, and other functions such as clear FTP and the corporate mail if you use an SMTP like Exchange as your corporate mail. So I'm going to be giving a demonstration showing a use case involving a Dropbox, as well as Google Drive in the cloud storage area. And if we have time, I'll also show an example of protecting your company in its use of the LinkedIn company homepage. Next slide.
You ready to take a look?
So let's take a look.
Okay, cool. Let me get you over control here. Let me make sure I don't give it to one of the attendees. To actually give it to you. Okay. Cool. So you should be able to. Okay, cool. I can see your screen, Mike. So maybe you can show us. Right. Here's the challenge we got is we got 21 minutes here, so we're not going to get to everything. But let's get to the core here of what are the cool things. And from there, if this is down the right avenue, we can definitely set up a custom demo for anyone on the call today, and make sure we cover all the bullet points, right? Because as you know, Mike, every environment's a little different. Whether it's a compliance need or just good internal security, everyone's got a little bit different feature set they're looking for. So we can help with that on a custom event.
Great, thank you, Chuck. So the main dashboard allows you to see in visual form the current status of your data in motion on the left, the protect, and the data at rest on the graph in the screen on the right. We're first going to start with one real quick example of Discover and what it's designed to do. So let's go into first Discover policies, where the system comes with base policies, and I'm going to show you one of them, which is I would like to log and report a finding if I find any of these credit cards in a scan of data at rest. So this is my policy. that I'm going to use in a Discover job. I send Discover jobs to network locations. In this case, we have 3 network file shares: the Cincinnati office share, the downtown share, and the partners and reseller shares. And these shares are not supposed to contain confidential information. So we're going to, in this Discover job, we're going to scan. We're going to look at the job first, and then we're going to launch it. And as you see, this is all about sending the Discover scan at the Cincinnati office share. We're looking for the credit cards, the policy we just looked at. We're telling the system to ignore certain things that we know won't have credit cards. And now I'm going to run this job. And as you see, the job is now scheduled to run. The job initializes and launches. In progress. We do offer a very nice feature, which is if you feel you've made an error, you can suspend or stop the job in stream or in process. And as you can see now, the job has completed. The good answer is that Securio found nothing. And this is the result that we show. In this example, we did in fact have 12 findings. And we show you the network path on specifically when and where we found. And in this case, we were looking for credit cards, and we found them. And this is the result that we show you. So this is a very efficient system that can scan your data at rest, and we get down to telling you the actual file name and the network path where it was located for remediation. So that's the purpose of the Discover functionality. Protect works in a very similar way. There are Protect policies, a number of policies. You can set up different rules for your enterprise. And this is, again, all about protecting your users, your business users, and their use of internet-based technologies, cloud applications, and so on. And right now, the policy we have in force, we're going to use the manufacturing engineering industry, where the companies worry about their engineering drawings for themselves, for their prospects, for their customers. And they have a rule that says, I want to block any time an AutoCAD file leaves the enterprise. So this is the active policy at this time. And now I'm changing my role from security administrator to a business user who's using Dropbox, and I want to send some work home to myself. So I'm trying to use Dropbox in getting some business files up to cloud storage that will allow me to do some work at home. But maybe I know it's company policy that I'm not allowed to, or maybe I don't, but Securio is there with an active policy, and I'm now going to try to choose. These are actual AutoCAD files from their website, so we know they're valid. And this is Securio performing its role in blocking an AutoCAD file attempt to be uploaded into Dropbox. I have the reporting filter on new, and as we can see, Securio, this is me, the business user, attempting to upload an AutoCAD file and we report back to the security administration team, now I'm back in that role, that there was an attempt to put up Dropbox an AutoCAD file against company policy. And this is a block notification screen telling the user they did something they should not have done. So one more example, and in this case I'm going to activate one of the standard policies that comes with your system, which is to block notify in the event a credit card breach occurs. In this case, my policy says to block notify, to label the incident with credit card risk, and we're looking for any of these patterns where it could be a credit card. So now I'm going to be activating this policy. Instead of looking for AutoCAD files, I'm now looking for credit cards, and in this time I'm going to use Google Drive. This is my personal Google Drive account, and I'm now going to try to do a file upload of credit cards. And this is the file. I can just show you real quick. This is the file that either I am accidentally or intentionally trying to upload to Google Drive. And now I'm going to ask you to watch the bottom. Google Drive is attempting to upload this file. And again, Securio is the technology in the middle, the man in the middle, the person in the middle, if you will. And we are protecting the organization from having a credit card breach. One of the things many of our customers, I'm going to stop the job, I the user, now see I'm maybe doing something I shouldn't have done. One of the features that our customers have told us they like is this occurrences, where instead of creating 3 separate findings or incidents of Google Drive trying to do this upload, we make workflow easier and more manageable by reporting the fact that it was the same event happening 3 different times. And again, that's all about making life easier.
So, Mike, one of the things that you and I were talking about either earlier this week or last week is one thing that people seem to really like is not the malicious stuff, the unintentional stuff, like network shares and just the crazy data that when they plug in Securio for the first time and run on their network that they find in unexpected places, like credit card numbers and stuff like that of kind of an unintended thing that they're finding. And maybe you can share like a story or something about how what you see when you first plug this into some environments.
Yes, exactly. So again, given the network path to a file share and the read-only login credentials, we can run these discover scans on data at rest, and we reveal interesting information. And I showed you the example of we're scanning for credit cards, and the result we had in finding 12 different files on that network share that had credit cards in them. And that was the worry of the chief security officer I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast. But you also can, in other client scenarios, they wanted to know if there were any corporate financial documents. In this case, they wanted to scan for the company finance documents, and in fact see if information was being stored in a place that it should not have been stored, and in fact that had occurred. So Discover is all about revealing that. So Discover really reveals 2 things. 2 things come to mind. Number one, that a trusted user is perhaps saving information into a file share or a folder where they're not supposed to put it. Or if you're finding credit cards, it could be that we have revealed to you through running Securio Discover scans every night that there may be a compromised server in your enterprise. And that you could then ask yourself, how in the world did those credit card numbers get on to that file share. And so I think those are a couple of examples that come to mind, Chuck, with regard to Discover. Discover is getting a lot of traction in the marketplace. And again, we're helping companies find and reveal risk and then allowing them the opportunity to mitigate it.
Cool. All right. Well, what else?
One more thing, and then I'll wrap up, and that is the use of social media. In this case, I, Mike, am a business user of Securio, the LinkedIn presence for Global Velocity on Securio. But first, let me activate a policy that says I'm looking for confidential terms. I'm looking for company confidential restricted information. I'm now activating this policy. And here I am, I'm live on LinkedIn. Various people in your own company have responsibilities and duties to update your presence on LinkedIn, and you can upload files. And in this case, I have a document that contains words that match the top secret, confidential, internal company use only file. And in attempting to upload this file, as you can see, LinkedIn, I'm blocked from being able to do so. One more example on Securio. I was attempting to upload something to LinkedIn, and it had my company confidential markings, and I should not have done so. One last thing, Chuck, and then I'll wrap, and that is we do offer ease of use. Our customers have told us they love our policy engine. It's very easy to set up multiple layers of rules, whereas you can see in this screen a multi-layered policy that says, I want to block Facebook, that's company policy. I want to protect my company financial statements look for any QuickBooks file types, block anything with my company confidential terms, look for financial statements, and look for credit cards. So one policy contains protection for all of those items. One of the features making Securio very easy to use and affordable. So Chuck, I'll pause and see if there's any questions.
Yeah, so, this brought up an interesting scenario that we ran into here. I remember it vaguely, right? It was back in the day when I was a rep here, and a good customer of ours located in Kansas, right? They trusted their employees, right? And they didn't have any compliance. A lot of people on this call do, some don't. And they're like, we trust our employees, right? And what they had happen to them was someone in accounts payable had a payroll doc that had everyone's end-of-the-year payroll on it, right? So socials, incomes, address, everything you would ever need. And she attached the file and emailed it out to the wrong list of people, and had that data go out. And she caught it the second she did it, right? But it went to a group of like 100 people that probably shouldn't have seen every single employee's information, and she didn't try to do it maliciously or anything, but that got that organization to really realize just because we trust our employees doesn't mean people can't make mistakes. And I can see where this could be a big help in not only if you have compliance reasons to be doing it, but if you completely trust your employees, I get it, but mistakes do happen, and that can really be a big thing in a lot of organizations. And that organization, it completely changed the way they thought about security after that one incident. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing that a product like this could help them control that data.
Excellent example, Chuck. Thank you.
So with that, we actually have a couple minutes to spare, which is great, and I don't see any questions here, Mike. If anyone on the call does have a question, your productive account executive will be following up with you after the event today. So we'd love to, like I kicked off saying, show you a custom demo, talk about your environment and how this product can really help change the way that you're doing business today and protecting your sensitive data. So let us know, right? If you thought this was cool, you want to learn more, we'd love to do that. If now's maybe not the right time, let us know that as well. We'd love to engage at the appropriate time. And like I said earlier, it will be recorded. We'll have that up on our site and on our YouTube channel. And I'll work on getting everyone their gift cards for attending. We know 30 minutes of your time is very valuable, so we really appreciate you joining us today, learning more about Global Velocity and the Securio product, and what we have to offer here at Productive. So with that, Mike, thank you for a great presentation today. Really appreciate it, and we're going to have some more Securio content coming out in the next few months, some different types of webinars. So if you want to continue to learn more, we're going to keep producing content. So with that, thank you everyone for joining us today, and have a great rest of the week. Thank you.